Stop. Day one, am I live? I'm live, I believe. Got it. Hello. Oh my gosh. All right. So I was having a little bit of technical difficulty, but I am here and I am ready to go. I'm just going to set up a few things here so that I know I'm not distracted. And the reason that I wanted to record this series beginning on Sunday is because I know most people won't be here live. I know that we're going to have a few stragglers come in over the next few days, and mostly because you can take what I give you today and start to integrate it like Monday morning. So if you're catching this now, this afternoon, or if you're catching this, later today, I'm going to give you 3 really beautiful, powerful pieces that's going to begin your own Radiant Morning Power Hour. And I'm going to explain more in just a moment. But I want you to kind of feel into the pieces. And then my invitation would be to carve the time out Monday morning, tomorrow morning. I guess it would depend what your time zone is, but for most of us, I think that would work. And then each day, I'm actually going to give you additional pieces and practices and tools to weave in to what I'm giving you today and the next day and the next day to create one beautiful practice that you can use over and over and over again. I'm going to keep talking, but I want to make sure I'm just set up properly in the back end. So just give me one sec. I saw there was a couple of you there, so welcome. I can't see who it is. And I think I just need to go like that. Okay. For some reason, if I look at the live on Facebook, it lags. And if I do it this way, it doesn't lag. All right. Beautiful. And I want to record to the cloud. That's one thing I love about Zoom. So welcome, whether you're popping in and catching. I'm really, really excited to introduce these tools and these practices with you. I've got 2 little barky dogs outside. I think they can hear me talking, and I hope you can hear it. And this is a practice that is really important to me. So I want to give you a bit of a background. I don't want to spend too much time either. I want to make this like really bite-sized and something beautiful that you can take, integrate, and build upon. The Radiant Morning Power Hour practice was something that I created probably a decade ago when I was working with women, which I've been doing for the last decade. Just give me one sec. I just realized this isn't plugged in. We're going to find our groove here. There we go. There is something that I created probably 8 years ago. And this practice I'm going to be building in and giving you all these foundation pieces with over the next 3 days was something that I kind of accidentally stumbled upon. And I'm sure, and I'd love to hear if you're catching the replay or if you're watching this live, what current practices do you have that you use? For me, the Radiant Morning Power Hour practice it's a sacred self-connection practice. Over the years, it's grown to really shift my feminine prosperity paradigms. I weave in now a lot more tools such as the Akashic Records, but also like a lot of embodiment work. So about 8 years ago, when I was a newer mom and I was getting my business off the ground, I just felt very pulled around all day. So maybe you can relate to that. And I just felt very like it was sluggish and like my energy wasn't where I needed it to be. And also I found myself always feeling like I didn't have enough time and I didn't have enough space for myself and I didn't have enough energy. So one of the core pieces that I often work on, that's a huge body of work for me, is the feminine prosperity paradigm, right? And so making these paradigm shifts where we start to shift out of never enough time, never enough energy, never enough money, right? They're all connected. It's a paradigm that kind of locks us in hustle. and a more masculinized matrix. And so one morning I got up at 6 a.m. and sat down and journaled and did a few things. And this was right around that time where I was starting to I just had that dialogue. God, there's never enough time. There's never enough time. And I was like, and also thinking like, I've got to stop saying that. So got up and I did this practice, not exactly what I'm going to share with you today. I've grown it a lot. And since hundreds of women have used this practice. And there's all kinds of ways that I offer new tools too, as you journey through different programs and that kind of thing. But I sat down that morning and I noticed my energy felt more anchored, more clear. I felt like my cup was a little more full, right? It's like, oh, that time really nurtured me. I felt clear, right? And I started to move through my day totally different. And so that was kind of the first, oh. So for me, as a business owner, as a mom, as a partner, right? I really hadn't learned how to carve that space and that time. And carving the space and the time, that sacred space that's just for us, is one of the most important ways that we start to shift paradigms. Because we're coming from that paradigm of push, go, do, hustle, and really never feeling like enough. And there's layers to that. To beginning to create and claim sacred space that is just for us, where we can remember the power, right, of who we are, and the power of presence, and where we can remember that we were born enough, right? Just the beauty of who we are, and that prosperity exists in that connection to remembering that we were born more than enough. And so, of course, this practice has grown. It's something that I speak about through my certification when I work privately, and I'm always kind of building in foundation pieces with this practice because it's so pivotal. So again, if you're catching the replay, if you're catching this live, let me know underneath what your practice is. I personally, having worked with women for well over a decade, have found that this practice is the most powerful when we can get up first thing in the morning, before the house gets busy, before life gets away on us, and actually carve this time out. So today I'm going to be teaching you 3 things. And the 3 things, the 3 tools, we're going to get more into tools today, tools and practices, and something that will be the foundation. Tomorrow, we're going to get more into conscious breathing and starting to drop into into the lower quadrants of the body, into the womb, into the feminine root, the yoni, to really ground and land the essence. And then on the day 3, we're going to get into some really basic movement practices. So when you combine all these 3 pieces, you will have one beautiful practice. Okay, so today, oh, my poor puppy just keeps thinking there's something in the bush. Anyways, all right, and I'm going to fix my hair while I'm doing this. And I'm just going to navigate back to Facebook. Ooh, that's lovely. I'm going to navigate back to Facebook and just going to see if there's any comments. I'm not sure how to see the comments. Yeah. I think there's a few of you there, but okay, I'll pop back. Please leave your questions, your shares. Let me know what your personal practice is like. I really want to know that so I can weave in anything else. So one of the first things, well, there's a few actually, but I want to make this really clear. So the 3 pieces that I'm going to be giving you today is connecting in the quantum field with your higher vision and your future self. And I want to talk about why that's even important, because it is, and why it's so powerful. Number 2 is gratitude. So we hear about this all the time, but I know for myself, when I really integrate this practice consistently, it's life-changing and it's so simple. So if you do it, great, see where you can go deeper. If you've done it in the past but aren't doing it, my invitation would be to do it again. And if you've never done it, then definitely jump in on this. But I want to give you a few ways to use this with a gratitude practice. And then the third piece that I want to give you today is actually called gratitude in advance. And it's more manifestation technique. And the gratitude in advance, I'm going to talk to you and walk you through what that gets to look like. These are 3 Really beautiful, really important pieces. I am going to, just give me one moment, I'm gonna let the puppy in. I don't think you can hear it, but I can hear her. Come on, come on. Hold on. All right, thank you. So invitation is always to make it sacred. Make it sacred. This is sacred time that is just for you as a divine being, right? It's the remembrance of our divinity within the scope of this human experience. It's a return back to sacredness. It's a return back to love. It's a return back to breath, to body, to beauty, right? To prosperity. So I always have, I always buy through a lot of them, but I always have a candle that's lit, right? And one, that feels really special to me. And then, bringing your sacred objects in, right? There's an art to creating sacred space that truly honors you. So bringing that in. Some of the other things that I use that I wanted to share are Egyptian anointing oils, but whatever essential oils you use are perfect. So I've got the intimacy and the wisdom anointing oil. There's something so powerful too about using the space to connect to your sensuality, right? And that's so rooted in the feminine, the scents, the smells, right? The beauty that we're surrounding ourselves with, coming into that space of breath, the awareness of our environment, and starting to come into connection with our essence and our body, all very, very important. So I'll often weave in a little bit of essential oil, and then I like to clear the space. And so right now I'm clearing the space. Sometimes I'll use sage, or sometimes I will just, I'm just trying to think of what I often will use, usually sage or Palo Santo. Right now I'm actually using Florida water. You can look that up if that speaks to you. And sometimes I'll drop a little drop in the palm of my hands, and it's really, really cleansing. And I'll just kind of move it around my body. And I also like to clear my space with, this is sweetgrass spray, but it's made locally and very lovingly and very intentionally. So gathering up your sacred objects, your sacred tools, making this a delicious time for you to connect to self and to recalibrate to the life that you desire to live, right? It's also about coming into that space of our sacred and holy yes, right? Our deeper desires, the vision that lives in our hearts and in our womb, the vision that we are being called to live. And there can be so many distractions when we say yes to what that gets to look like. We can get lost in an old version of ourselves who has old patterns and old beliefs and old ways of being, right? And we can also get really pulled around by the agendas of others. That happens often. It's not always conscious. So this is also that place for coming into our creative power. Coming into our creative power and then recalibrating to what it is that we are creating for ourselves in our lives. And so this is a really beautiful opportunity just here in this space to just start to clarify that for yourself. Maybe you already have a very clear vision, maybe you don't. Maybe that's something that's like a concept that's pretty new to you. I generally work with women leaders, rising women leaders, right? There's the calling, there is the clarity there. So even if it's not, crystal clear, and it doesn't need to be, it's a general sense of where am I going? Who am I being called to be? What do I want? What do I desire? I really love to, oftentimes it's a recalibration to how I want to design my life, who I'm being called to be, the kind of prosperity that I'm anchoring in my life, right? And I want to get to know who that version of me is. And this is something that I am looking at, at each and every time I step into more of my evolution. more of my evolution. So just start to dream into that. You know, if you're catching the replay and you want to press pause, go ahead and press pause and take a moment, grab your journal and feel into that. Beautiful. But whatever it is, wherever you're at, even just kind of getting into the feeling and a little bit of the visual of what that looks like is so, so powerful. And this is where our future self and the visioning piece comes into play. So I have a very signature process that I use in my transformational work. I teach this in my Flower of Life Akashic certification. I use it when I'm working in group containers or privately. And I'll often do a future self Akashic activation. And actually, this is a free gift that you can find in the guide section if you want to actually experience and work and kind of set that timeline in the Akashic field. But it can also just be really powerful to start to get to know who this is using our imagination and imprinting that on the quantum field, right? And also the vision that we have for our lives, right? Really putting our focus on the quantum field over and over and over again until it starts to manifest and ground. So I'm going to open up a little bit of space and I'm going to guide you through a simple process and a simple way to do that. And this too, you know, this space is meant to be luxurious. Like it's really meant to come into the power and the beauty of our feminine essence and our divinity. And so giving yourself the space to dream, right? Like having a yummy cup of something and then allowing yourself to lean back and to just like dream, just to dream into that. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to close my eyes. You can do the same if that speaks to you, and I'll guide us through this. And I'm going to guide you through the 2 additional steps that I have shared with you today. They're simple, they're powerful, and they're going to build. We're going to continue to build over the next 2 or 3 days. All right, so we can go ahead and close our eyes. So let's go ahead and bring our focus to our breath, to our bodies. Start to really pay attention to the space around you. Any scents, any sounds, the temperature of the room. And then let's go ahead and take a breath in through the nose. And then down into the energetic womb space. And then we'll do that breath 2 more times, bringing it to the count of 3. I'm going to ask for spheres of love and light and protection to surround us now. I'm going to call in the violet flames of protection to just start to transmute anything around us in our field that feels dense, lower vibrating, heavy, anything that really doesn't serve our highest truth, our highest purpose. I'm just asking all that to start to gently be cleansed and cleared and released from the field. Seeing it all be transmuted to divine love and light and then released fully back to source. I'm going to call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael. I'm going to ask Archangel Michael to please cut all cords, hooks, and energetic attachments that might be running from myself to any other person that does not serve my highest good. Any cords that may be running to any type of electronics, any social media, anything like that, that it all be cleansed, cleared, and released fully back to source. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. So it is. Asking this to be a divinely protected space for only the highest frequencies of love and light now exist. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. And so let's go ahead and we'll just deepen in with a little bit of basic breath work. So breathing in through the nose, down into the energetic womb space. And then up and out through the mouth.
And then we're going to go ahead, bringing our focus to the energetic womb space. Seeing a beautiful soft pink light start to fill up the energetic womb space. See it swish and swirl through the sacral, cleansing, clearing the sacral, rejuvenating the sacral. Just bringing that soft vibration of unconditional love, just like the love of the mother, of the divine mother. We're going to start to see that swish and swirl through the sacral, bringing all that energy and all that light down through the core of the body, right down to the core of Mother Earth. And we're going to see that grow deep roots into the core of Mother Earth, simultaneously releasing everything and anything that feels heavy at the level of the womb. It's going to release, cleanse, clear, letting it go. And then also letting our body weight drop and drop and drop until we feel fully held by the beauty of Mother Earth. Beautiful. Allowing yourself to begin, allowing your essence to start to drop into your back body. Allowing yourself to release or relinquish any control, focus, or attention you have on things that in this space do not matter. We're just going to drop into this present moment, giving yourself full permission to do that. So we're going to go ahead and start to feel into this beautiful, powerful woman that lives inside of you. We all have her. And this version of your beautiful, powerful self, right, who is really living her life in intention in creative power. And she's really got this embodiment of who you are being called to be, right? How you experience your relationships in terms of the next expression of your evolution, how she experiences money, how she navigates her life in place of leadership, how she shows up in her business, right? We're just playing around with this. We're just playing around with this. So now I want you to go ahead and visualize yourself in a beautiful forest. A beautiful forest full of sunlight. It's warm, but not too warm. You can smell the damp soil, right? The earth beneath your feet. It's kind of sweet and kind of earthy. And one tree in particular in this forest is going to speak to you. And so for whatever reason, you can go ahead and start to make your way over to this tree. And as you make your way over to this tree, this future version of you, she's going to step out. She's going to step out. And as you step up to her, just start to notice the difference between the two vibrations. How you're vibrating, how you feel, the energy that you are, which is beautiful. And we can celebrate all of that, absolutely. And also starting to notice how she shows up, her energy, right? How her body language. And you're going to walk up to her and you're just going to send her love. You're going to send her love. You can take each other by the hands. She's going to send you love. You're going to send her love. And there's something about her where she can really see you. She really sees you, the beauty, the power, right? All of you. She just sees you and she's gazing at you so lovingly. Right? She sees some things that maybe you can't, or maybe it's you've disconnected from, maybe it's there's some worthiness stuff showing up, whatever it is. So go ahead and just let her see you and let her love you and vice versa. And you can take a moment in this space and just ask your future self, right? Any questions that you might have, or just take a moment and listen for any guidance that she may have for you in this moment. And when that feels good and complete, you want to go ahead and just pull her into your body, pull her into your heart. Oh, my house is waking up. Everybody's moving. And so it is, and so it is. If you have any desires, right, even just kind of like the essence of like prosperity or abundance, I want you to go ahead and see that swirling around you. So just like, maybe it's like gold bars, something gold coins, really tapping into the swirl of like that golden surplus energy, right? And then pulling that inside of you and starting to just come into that place of like seeing this beautiful treasure box, like full overflowing with divine prosperity that is your birthright. Allowing yourself to tune into that feeling, to be in that energy. And any of your desires that you may just kind of seeing it out in front of you. We're going to see a beautiful gold tendril of light come down in through the head and out through the heart. And we're just going to allow the gold energy to surround those desires and then pulling it into your body. Feeling the feeling of having the desires, knowing that they're yours, that nothing's being withheld, that your desires are meant for you. And so it is, and so it is. And now I want to just take a brief moment to tune into the life that you are being called to live. Just take a moment and start to dream into that. If you in this future you, maybe it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, this future you wakes up in your home, right? Sitting at the kitchen table. I don't know why for some reason, the kitchen table is always the place for me. But I just want you to start to tune into and vision into your business, your life, how your money feels, how your relationship feels. Really start to point your creational focus, right, at the outcome that you desire, right? And just really give thanks for that. Really give thanks for that. Really affirm it. Let yourself have that experience of like knowing what it feels like to be embodied in that. And when that feels good and complete, you can go ahead and pull that into your body. And so it is. You can spend as long as you want there. You can travel to different aspects of your life, right? Because sometimes what happens is our focus starts to get pulled on where things aren't working, on what's not showing up. And we disconnect from how powerful we are as creators. So this is such a beautiful practice. Okay, so I'm going to give you the last 2 pieces, and then I'm going to sign off, but I will see you tomorrow. But definitely let me know how this is working for you, how it's supporting you, what pieces you like, what you might leave. All right, so 2 is gratitude. Right? It's like gratitude is like prosperity journaling. It is like, again, putting our focus on like what is working in our lives and giving thanks. So go ahead and in this space, you want to write down 10 things that you're grateful for. And on days where it could feel challenging, it can be as simple as I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm grateful for the sunlight, right? I'm grateful for the gift of kindness that a friend extended. Right? Or it could be, I am grateful for the $200 sale that came in, or the $1,000 sale that came in, or whatever it was. So 10 is like the minimum, and you can go 20 if you really want to, but it really puts your focus on what is working so that more of that could continue to unfold in your life. It also opens the heart, keeps you in a beautiful, receptive, and open state. Right, so that you can let even more in. The third piece is the gratitude in advance. And that is basically writing down the things in your life that you desire to create, that you desire to have, or that you desire to be. Right. And you write those things down. Usually on my list, there's a good, 5 or 6 kind of that I'm like actively, they're desires that are pretty close. Right. And I write down the 6 desires and I give thanks and I give gratitude for them, each one of them. And I feel it in my body, in my heart, in my womb, as if it's already done. Right. And it amplifies the energy of that. It amplifies our attraction frequency. It steps us into our creational power. Beautiful. So my invitation, so I'm just going to go ahead. I just feel like I just want to kind of ground this. So I'm going to thank, you for joining me in the space, whether you're live or whether you're catching the replay. Definitely let me know how this has supported you. And just bringing yourself and your focus now back to your body, back to your breath, and giving ourselves this beautiful permission now to return to our to this moment, to our daily life. Something so beautiful about this practice, specifically with the future self, now as you move through the day, because we actually start to show up in a different energy. We actually start to make choices. We actually start to navigate and flow from the way that our future self would. And it's so beautiful and so powerful. Really is. It takes you out of doing things from the current vibrational state. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but when we're really trying to re-script our lives, when we're really wanting to co-create something deep in our heart and our soul's calling, this is a way to keep us in energetic alignment. So enjoy that, being in that energy, and my invitation is to carve it out again tomorrow. This practice is something that I often will do Monday to Friday or 3 days a week. But I'm going to keep giving you the tools to pull it all together. So enjoy. I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time. Thanks for stopping by. And I shall talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.